a stunning turn of events here this evening. All of it happening in less than a minute at this jewelry store right next to me near 26th in Springfield. Now, it is a 63-year-old man and a 25-year-old man who have died from their injuries in this armed robbery. Now, we have exclusive surveillance video from a business on this street that caught the entire incident. We'll see that where you can see a Blackhawks hoodie. That is what the man is wearing as he pursues the business. He goes inside around 5:45 this evening, and then within about 30 seconds, the offender runs outside with some merchandise from the store as two men quickly ran out after him. The altercation continued in the middle of the street with oncoming traffic, and then right near the corner of Springfield, the offender pulls out his gun and shoots both victims. That is where we have frozen the video before the shots were fired in between multiple vehicles in the area. Now, those two men were quickly rushed to Mount Sinai Hospital. They were pronounced dead there. The offender left the area in a white SUV heading southbound on Springfield Avenue. CPD has been on scene for the last 4 hours taking in evidence at this business. There are a lot of surveillance cameras in this area. Police tell us no one else was hurt by those gunshots that were fired off in the middle of the street. Now, this jewelry store here near 26 in Springfield appears to be closed now. It does appear that the two victims who were shot and killed in this armed robbery were employees at this business. Police tell us at this time no one is in custody.
They call it Little Village, a place where the streets hum with life in the daylight and fall silent at night for all the wrong reasons. It's not just another Chicago neighborhood. It's a battlefield wrapped in brick and street lights. For decades, this part of the city has been known for something deeper than danger. It's history repeating itself. Gang wars, poverty, generations raised under the same shadow. Every block tells a story, but some stories start with a sound no one forgets: the echo of gunfire.
More breaking news. Take a look at deadly shooting outside of a pizza shop in Chicago's Little Village neighborhood. Sources tell us a man was killed in this shooting near Cermak and Rockwell. You can see a lot of evidence markers on the ground as well as investigators. Police still here investigating the shooting. As the chopper pushes in, you'll see those yellow markers surrounding that white SUV. We're told there have been no arrests. We'll keep an eye on this story as the evening progresses.
It was just before 6 p.m. on a cold Saturday evening. The jewelry store on West 26th Street was closing up for the night. Two men, father and son, locked up like they had done hundreds of times before. But this night, something was different. A man in a Blackhawks hoodie was caught on surveillance, standing near the corner. He wasn't browsing. He wasn't waiting for a ride. He was watching. Moments later, he walks in, and within seconds, everything shatters. Glass, shouts, a struggle, then silence. When he runs out, he's clutching stolen jewelry, but he doesn't run far. The two men chase him into the street, and right there, under the flickering of a dying streetlight, the sound of 4 shots cut through Little Village. When the smoke clears, both men, father and son, are lying in the street, bleeding. By the time police arrive, the suspect is gone south on Springfield Avenue in a white SUV. And the only witnesses left behind are the cameras on the block still recording.
A reward now being offered to help catch the shooter behind a deadly jewelry store robbery. Surveillance video shows the final moments of the two victims, a father and son, chasing the robber down the street. Asal Razai has details from Little Village.
The family is devastated. They told me off camera they can't imagine how they're going to get through the holidays that are just around the corner. Business owners in this area in shock. The shooting happened in the middle of this busy street. There's a growing memorial of flowers and candles in front of Joyeria Angelo's jewelry store. This is where a robbery turned deadly Saturday night, leaving 63-year-old Faustino Alamo and his 25-year-old son Luis shot and fighting for their lives in the street. Here's surveillance video from a nearby business showing the moments before and after the shooting around 5:45 that night. You'll see a man crossing 26th Street. As he gets closer to the store, you'll see he's wearing a Chicago Blackhawks jersey and appears to slip a hat over his head before walking into the store. within 15 seconds, you see the same guy stumble out of the shop. Another man runs out after him. You see them struggle into the street as cars are driving by. Moments later, someone else runs out of the store after them. The video shows them all running across 26th Street. Moments before, you hear over 20 gunshots. We're freezing the video before those shots were fired.
Be advised now at 2600 South Springfield, there is calling for 2 people shot in the street.
Police say the father and son were both shot multiple times, taken to Mount Sinai Hospital in critical condition, and later pronounced dead. Luis's brother tells me Luis has a license to carry and is usually armed. It's unclear if he had his gun on him at the time of the robbery or if he fired back at the suspect. Cook County Crime Stoppers is offering a $10,000 cash reward for anyone with any information leading to an arrest.
In Little Village, tragedy doesn't echo, it layers. Each week, a new headline drowns out the old one. The jewelry store shooting came just days after another killing shook the same streets. A Chicago rapper, THF Bayzoo, gunned down in broad daylight. 2 men walked up, no warning, no words, just bullets. The parking lot on St. Louis Avenue was supposed to be quiet that day. Instead, it became the site of another name added to the list, a list that keeps growing.
Out of Little Village, 3 men are in the hospital after a shooting. This happened around 3 this afternoon near 31st and St. Louis. Police say those victims were standing in a parking lot when a car drove up and someone inside started firing. One of the men was taken to the hospital in critical condition. The other 2 are expected to survive. So far, no one is in custody.
Footage of the ambush spread online before the police even arrived. People watched it like a movie, forgetting that the man on the screen had a heartbeat and the family waiting for him to come home. It's not just gangs anymore, not just locals fighting over corners or pride. Last weekend, even federal agents got caught in the crossfire. Border Patrol officers shot at in broad daylight right in Little Village.
We're following developing news after tense moments in Little Village and Cicero this weekend. Things escalating between federal agents and multiple people in those communities. Asal Rizai in the newsroom for us now with the latest on the ongoing investigation. Asal.
Yes, Suzanne, good morning. 2 young sisters were detained in Cicero. Meanwhile, over in Little Village, the Department of Homeland Security claims shots were fired at agents during an immigration operation there yesterday. Here's video of that chaotic scene near 26th and Kedzie. DHS claims an unknown man in a black Jeep fired the shots at agents before leaving the area. At one point, you'll see agents deploying tear gas. We saw Chicago police respond to the scene and disperse the crowd, allowing Border Patrol to eventually leave that area. Police say there were no reports of anyone struck by gunfire. So far, we don't know of any arrests in connection to reports of shots being fired. And then over in Cicero, more chaos. Video shows an 18-year-old woman pushing a car door an agent was trying to open in the parking lot of the Sam's Club there. You'll see the agent grab and push the woman into another car. That woman and her 15-year-old sister were both detained, taken to a hospital, and then to the FBI field office off of Roosevelt, where they were eventually released. 25th Ward Alderman Byron Sigcho Lopez says the actions of federal agents are putting the community in danger.
It is a shame that we allow that this continues to happen in our city and in our state, because it's happening also across the suburbs.
Now, all of this comes as a judge just issued a temporary injunction restricting the use of force by federal agents here in Chicago.
The agents were there for an operation, but what they walked into was something else. A reminder that in this neighborhood, anyone can become a target. The suspect was arrested days later. An undocumented man with a record of gun charges. No officers were hit, but one Chicago cop was injured when a car swerved trying to flee the chaos. To outsiders, it sounds like a series of unrelated crimes, but to those who live here, it's one long, never-ending story. By the time night falls, Little Village feels like a city inside a city, a place where people pray before locking their doors, and every siren sounds familiar. the jewelry store remains closed. 2 candles sit outside the doorway, one for a father, one for a son. And yet, only blocks away, the traffic never stops. People still sell food on the corners, still walk home from work, still try to believe that tomorrow might be better. But beneath the surface, fear lingers, not just of the next shooting, but of what's causing them. Poverty, frustration, a system stretched too thin. When schools fail and jobs vanish, the streets start teaching their own lessons. In Little Village, violence doesn't sleep, it just changes shift. Each bullet tells a story of desperation. Each body on the pavement is a message no one's decoding fast enough. Police say investigations are ongoing, but for the people who live here, investigations don't mean closure. They mean another night of wondering who's next. Because in this neighborhood, danger isn't coming, it's already here. Alright y'all, there y'all have it, man. That's the crazy story of the father and son getting killed, trying to defend their jewelry store. Hey man, get in that comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Drillers and trappers, we outside trapping and drilling 247. Don't go nowhere. Watch that next video. Gang!